amazing.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your man B City 1153. We at the Stew. This is episode 13. And today at the Stew became a teenager, man. I really appreciate it. This is the 13th episode. I love it, man. All my subscribers, all of my followers on social media at B City Beats. I really appreciate it, and I'm gonna keep it going. You want more content daily? Hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and let's do it. Today's quick stew tip is about breathing on the track. Now, in the past 8 years, I've been seeing a trend. I'm not sure if it is a trend or if just engineers are not being as technical or as critical with their vocal performers, but I hear a lot of breathing on tracks now, and some of it is good. I hear a lot of emotion, but for the most part, a lot of breathing on the track can really mess with compressors, EQs, and the effects you're trying to do. So we're going to break that down. I have 4 examples, and I want to break this down the best way I can. I have an artist, his name is Big Eel. He just recorded a song called The Race. I had to take a lot of breaths out of the track, and I thought that this would be a great example to show you the differences on how taking the breaths out of tracks can create a lot of clarity and can leave room for your effects to shine and for your processing to be more minimal. Okay, so let's first talk about the pros of breathing on the track. It can create emotion, and it depends on where it's placed. Big Eel has an ad lib that he does on his tracks a lot that requires the first breath or the last breath to be left into it to give the proper emotion of the ad lib. Without one of those breaths, it doesn't give off the same emotion. And the same with a woman on an R&B track doing a really sexy breathe in or a sigh on the track. Some of these types of breaths add emotion to the song, and some don't, like the really quick deep breath that you have to take because you ran out of breath trying to spit a verse that you just ran out of breath on. So these types of breaths are not good, but the pro is the emotion. The next thing is the authenticity. A lot of rappers want to know that rapper went in the booth and spit that whole verse himself without having to do a lot of edits, and breathing in a rap verse can show that. A lot of clean rap verses, the audience, it sounds very professional, but some of the hardcore rap audience, they may think it sounds too clean, and they may say, hey, he didn't spit that all the way through. He had to go in the booth and take a lot of different takes, punch in a lot, like we say in the studio, and how's he going to spit that on stage? All right, so 2, authenticity, breathing on the track. But everything else to me damages the vocal performance. Number 1, it sounds unprofessional, and it sounds unprepared. A vocal performer should have breath control, and if having to breathe, should breathe through their nose or silent breath. Shouldn't be really heard on the track unless you're trying to create that emotion. An engineer, on the other hand, it's going to sound unprofessional on your part because during the mastering process, the mastering engineer is going to say, how the hell did he let this slide? Depending on, like I said, the vocal performance, the breath that was used. So you have to be careful. In my cases, I take breaths out that I know the artists aren't intentionally trying to do. That's what I do. All right. And it's going to create a lot more clarity in the sound, just point blank, when you take those unwanted breaths out. Number 2 is compressors and EQs. They hate breaths. Short breaths are really sharp. They're harsh. They can get into the 7,000 and 8,000 range and on the frequency scale. So trying to EQ the vocal and then you get that sharp breath coming across can be very nasty to the vocal recording. Also, compressors turn breaths up. So, compressors make the loud stuff come lower, and then the lower stuff goes up, just breaking it down in a short way. And if you breathe on a track and you got the compressor going, it's going to shine more. You're going to hear the breath more. So compressors and EQs hate breaths. And depending on, like I said, how you're doing it, you don't want to use you don't want to breathe on the track and have those compressors and EQs shine the breaths even more. And then the next thing is effects. Delays, phasers, anything that you're a chorus, anything that you're using on your vocals to wet the vocals, it's going to wet the breath as well. So If you breathe on the track, the delay is going to make the breath delay as well, and you're going to have a delayed breath, you're going to have a phased breath, and you have a chorus breath. So always keep that in mind. Whatever effect you put on the vocal is going to be on the breath as well. All right, so we got 4 examples, and let's get right into it. This first example is the track with the breaths. So we're going to play just the vocals with the breaths. Let's do it.
Then they caught a body, phone them automatic. Could've left him stinking like a porta potty. Wrap him in a blanket, treat him like a mummy. Heard he dropping statements, it's gon' be a hummy. I be like a zombie, shelling I'm becoming. That's that white shit, where your pipe, bitch. It's a light 6, you a bitch nigga, like a dyke bitch. Get your light fixed, pull up fully auto. That's a bright stick, keep my light lit.
All right. Now, Big Ill is a great performer. If I wouldn't have told you anything about, the breaths, if this wasn't the topic, then we probably wouldn't even notice that. That would have just been a nice performance. All right. However, now let's listen to the performance without the breaths. Here we go.
Then they caught a body, phone them automatic. Could've left him stinking like a porta potty. Wrap him in a blanket, treat him like a mummy. Heard he dropping statements, it's gon' be a hummy. I be like a zombie, shelling I'm becoming. That's that white shit, where your pipe, bitch. It's a light 6, you a bitch nigga, like a dyke bitch. Get your light fixed, pull up fully auto. That's a bright stick, keep my light lit.
All right. So the vocal performance without the breaths, yes, some of the breaths probably add a little bit of emotion to a couple of the words, just a couple. But there's 2 things that you can immediately notice. One, the vocal performance is a lot clearer. It has more clarity. You don't hear a breath in between every single word. And 2, you can hear the delay that I've added to the vocal a lot better. It's actually given a lot more swing to the vocal performance because you can hear the delay a lot better. Next, I'm going to play the vocal performance with the ad-libs. I'm going to add the breaths back in, and then we're going to play it with the ad-libs. And I'll show you how breaths can clash with the ad-libs. Let's do it.
Then they caught a body, phone them automatic. Could've left him stinking like a porta potty. Wrap him in a blanket, treat him like a mummy. Heard he dropping statements, it's gon' be a hummy. I be like a zombie, shelling I'm becoming. That's that white shit, where your pipe, bitch. It's a light 6, you a bitch nigga, like a dyke bitch. Get your light fixed, pull up fully auto. That's a bright stick, keep my light lit.
All right. And then finally, to end everything out, we have the vocal performance without the breaths and with the ad-libs. And you'll notice that you'll hear everything a lot clearer. Everything has a lot more clarity. Everything sounds just a lot more professional. Check it out.
Then they caught a body, phone them automatic. Could've left him stinking like a porta potty. Wrap him in a blanket, treat him like a mummy. Heard he dropping statements, it's gon' be a hummy. I be like a zombie, shelling I'm becoming. That's that white shit, where your pipe, bitch. It's a light 6, you a bitch nigga, like a dyke bitch. Get your light fixed, pull up fully auto. That's a bright stick, keep my light lit.
All right, everybody, man, we listen to everything, and what can we take away from it? All right, it's all about balance. If you have the right amount of breath in the track, depending on where it's placed, it can create good emotional value to the performance. Other than that, it can cause problems with the compressor, the EQ, and it can also cause problems with the effects. All right, it's your man V City with a quick stew tip. This is episode 13 of At the Stew, and we out of here.